right. Okay. All righty. I want to welcome everybody to Naples, Florida. For those of you that have traveled quite a way, this is our first Naples Kannaway event. How many drove more than 25 miles? Wow. How many drove more than 50 miles? How many drove more than 100 miles? I'm not sure. All right. You know, I do that because I just want you to realize, you know, Kannaway has kind of exploded. And it basically started March 1st, and since March 1st, about 75,000 people have expressed interest. And what you're going to learn today is we're going to give you enough information for those of you that are guests to pique your interest to see if you want more information. We're going to give you enough information about a little bit of information about the product. We're going to give you a little bit of information about the company, and we're going to give you a little bit of information about our opportunity. So, how many of you are guests? Okay, so I'm kind of, you know, the brand ambassadors, I'm going to kind of speak to the guests here just for a minute. So, and I want you to know that we're live. What I want you to do, how many guests know what CBD is? One, okay. How many of you have a smartphone with you? I want you to pull them out. Okay? Smartphone, if you got a smartphone, access to the internet right now. I want you to, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and I want you to Google what is CBD. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes just to kind of just do some fast, that's okay, fast research, if you will, and then we're just going to see what you found out. So just give us a couple minutes here and take the time to look at what it is. CBD, Charlie Boyd Davis. If you want to use the word cannabidiol, C-A-N-N-A-B-I-D-I-O-L. Cannabidiol.
Sorry.
All right, so who's a guest that's not shy at the moment?
We did some research.
We did a little bit last night.
What'd you find out?
What'd you find out?
Oh, great stuff. That's why I'm here. She told me at 2 o'clock in the morning.
In 1 or 2 words, what did you find out when you did your own research?
My own research, when I saw the video and all that. Oh, amazing. You know what Hawaii that you don't know about, and it's, I don't know if this is.
You're talking about. I'm talking about specifically CBD.
Oh, CBD.
Yes.
Oh, it helps us sleep for one.
Okay.
Oh, it has.
All right. That's interesting. All right. Anybody else that's a guest?
Yeah, well, I just pulled up a chart that says it's beneficial in treating various things, such as reducing inflammation, aiding sleep, treating psoriasis, has a tranquilizing effect.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Interesting. So I guess what I'm after is we like you to do your own research. We like you, if you are interested in what we have here, it is more important that you do your own research than we do it for you. We are not doctors. We are not experts. We are someone that saw something. And we did our own research. Did nothing different than what I asked you to do. We got on Google, and we just got deeper and deeper and deeper. So with that in mind, I invite you to listen with an open mind. I invite you to, absorb what we tell you, but don't expect us to give you all of the answers, because we're not going to. But we're going to give you information that will, about a company, like I said, and a product line, about an opportunity that I think is second to none. We are very fortunate in Naples that this gentleman flew in from San Diego. Started a tour that started Thursday night in Clearwater. It is here today. It will be in Miami on Sunday, Plantation, Florida, I believe. For those of you that don't know, our product line is, and everything is designed around hemp. You will learn. There's a hemp fest in Plantation, Florida, that's going to teach a lot of people about hemp and also the medical marijuana act that's coming on our ballot in November. So we have there's a lot going on. When you look at the news, you turn on the news right now, you're going to hear about hemp. My state of Kentucky just put the first hemp seeds that you're going to learn. They're in the ground. Hasn't happened since 1930. Awesome. So there's some great news. So anyway, this gentleman flew in from San Diego. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but he's only been in network marketing for 2 years. He's rose to the top of a couple companies. So he is someone that takes his time to find out about what we have. He found out what we have here with Kannaway, dropped everything he was doing to become involved with this. He is quickly becoming a very close friend of mine. And with that said, I would like you to welcome Billy from formerly of Chicago, but now from San Diego, California.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone who joined us today. I really appreciate the warm welcome. I flew out of Chicago to leave the cold back in January to take a look at Kannaway, and it wasn't anything at the time. There was no word to describe what the company's name was going to be. They had a bunch of products that were working for people. They wanted to take it to the best form of advertising and marketing on the planet, relationship marketing, or word of mouth marketing, or network marketing, whatever you choose to call it. And at the time, like John says, I had several business projects that I was working on were really successful for me. And so when I got a phone call asking if I was open to coming and take a look at this hemp deal that was going on that Troy Neihart was putting together, I didn't really have any room on my plate. But I kept looking out the window in January I think like 3rd in Chicago. But looking out the window going, man, it's cold out there. There's 1.5 feet of snow. Where is it, Troy, that this hemp convention is going to happen? So, well, it's a small meeting, and it'll be happening in San Diego. So I'm in. He had me at San Diego, not hemp. Because I was skeptical. Even though in college I wrote several speeches on industrial hemp versus marijuana and why industrial hemp is different, I knew the differences between the two. I still was very skeptical. I was like, there's no way he's got something that is legal. There's no way he has anything that will work. But I went there with an open mind. And I was really excited about enjoying some warm weather. It's like I'm excited here to enjoy some warm weather. And when I got there, I found a company that had all the missing pieces put together. They had the right foundation. They had the right leaders. They had, for 6.5 years, spent over $70 million in research and development just to get into this space. And what really got me was the team that they had put together, and the products that they were working with. So what you're going to find out today is why somebody like myself stopped doing everything. When I flew back to Chicago, I literally put my office up for sublease. I put every business on hold and moved all the way out to San Diego just to focus full-time on Kannaway. So before we get started today, what I want to let you know is that these statements haven't been evaluated by the FDA, that CBD-rich hemp oil is a supplement. And every time that you use a supplement, you're encouraged to consult with your dietary physician. We are not intending to cure, treat, or manage any disease. What you're going to find out through the products inside of Kannaway is your own results. Like John said, we don't go out there and tell anybody what our products do. You're going to find out why in your minutes. So when I looked at Kannaway, there was no 2-minute and 16-second video. There was no intro video. There was no sizzle video. There was no compensation plan. There was nothing. Over time, though, when Kannaway started formulating and putting itself together, some incredible pieces of information came out. And one of them is this 2-minute and 16-second video that I think sums up where we've been at inside of hemp and where we're at today and where we're going in the future. So if you don't mind, we'll play this 2-minute, 16-second video, which will give you a better understanding of why we're all here today.
It may buffer.
American help complete the needs of our Army and Navy, as well as of our industry.
Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hemp.
I think, we've been terribly and systematically misled in this country for some time, and I did part of that misleading. I think it's irresponsible of the medical community not to offer this as an alternative.
Thank you, everybody. God bless you. I'm now going to sign this farm bill.
Pretty crazy when you look at where we've been inside of the world today over the last millennia, last few centuries, last few decades. The mindsets that have changed and shifted throughout time. When I was putting together speeches in college about industrial hemp, that's some of the things that I looked at, studied, and talked about. But when I got that phone call asking if I was open to come and take a look at a hemp deal, the first thing that still thought, that came to my mind when I heard the word hemp was THC. Marijuana. That's why I was skeptical. I had no idea that there was, a cannabinoid called CBD, or cannabidiol. When I got there, I found out that there was a difference between THC and CBD. That THC may get people high, but CBD is more associated with the word healthy. And that's what really got me, was that, we've been misinformed, we've been misled, we've been literally miseducated for a long time. You're going to find out why, I think, in a few minutes. But when you came here today, some of you may have had a mindset of what exactly is Kannaway. Some of you may have looked at the word Kannaway and seen canna and thought of cannabis. Some of you may have looked at Kannaway and thought of an opportunity. Some people look at Kannaway as a movement. When you look at the raw definition of who we are and what we do, you're going to find that Kannaway is a hemp lifestyle company with a focus on nutritional wellness and whose products contain CBD-rich hemp oil. Let's say that one more time. Kannaway is a hemp lifestyle company whose products contain CBD-rich hemp oil, and our focus is on nutritional wellness. So over the next 20 minutes, you're going to find out a lot about CBD. You're going to find out a lot about Kannaway, and we're going to be talking a lot about hemp. I think over the course of the next 20 minutes, you're going to find out why so many people are excited about this movement and excited about this company. When you look at the history of hemp, it's pretty crazy when you actually really study it and you dive deep. You realize that 1000 BC all the way to 1900, that hemp extracts were the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 most frequently used medicines for over 2/3 of the world's population. All the way up until right around 1900 or 1930, actually hemp extracts were used in over 60% of medicines on the planet. And inside the United States, that number was consistent with 60%, but all of a sudden, right around 1938, that number went from 60% to 0. Why is that? Well, before we get into that, let's go a little bit further in time, and we find that 1611 AD, that the King James Bible was written on hemp paper. You were to fast forward another 165 years, you would find that the start of America, the start of this great country, and this great culture was founded on a plant. It was founded with the Declaration of Independence. And hemp is such a powerful plant, and it was such a big part of that culture, that community. It was a big part of that economy. It was a big part of the daily life of everybody that lived there, like Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, John Adams. That the first and second drafts of the Declaration of Independence were written on hemp paper. That's how important hemp was to the people that founded this country. But things happened. It was such an important part of America, it was such an important part of Great Britain, that there was a war fought over it. How many people have heard of the War of 1812? How many people actually knew what the war was actually fought over? I took some history classes, but I never really remember what the war was actually fought over. If you look back at history and you study it, you realize that the War of 1812 was fought over the Russian trade routes for hemp. It was that important for America and Great Britain that they went to war over it. They put their people in jeopardy, and people went to fight for freedom over that trade route. Well, in 1901, the U.S. Department of Agriculture predicted that the harvesting of hemp fibers would be America's #1 crop. Probably scratching your head right now going, why isn't that? Why don't we hear about hemp as being America's #1 crop, or #2, or #3, or #100? Well, it's because in 1937, U.S. Congress passed the Marijuana Tax Act, which levied a tax on all forms of cannabis. It was the first time that we took the words cannabis, marijuana, and hemp and put them in the same sentence. We put them in the same box. We put them on the same piece of paper, and we told everybody that they were the same word. That was the first time that people thought of the word hemp as the same thing as marijuana and cannabis. Why is that? Well, back in 1937, there was people like William Randolph Hearst who had the power of paper. He had incredible paper companies, not just to inform people about news and happenings inside of the United States at that time, but he also was a big part of actually producing that paper. And he realized that it would actually be a whole lot more profitable for him if there wasn't a way for people to produce paper through hemp. Because if people could only get paper through trees, he would profit a whole lot more. And so what did he do? He created propaganda against hemp and against marijuana, and then put the two in the same sentence and actually misinformed everybody on what hemp really is. It's 2014. Each and every one of you have a smartphone. How many people have Facebook? Information travels fast. Back in 1937, information traveled very slowly. So slowly that one of the biggest magazines at the time, and still is a big magazine today, Popular Mechanics, was actually putting out a huge article about hemp. They called it the new billion-dollar crop. That magazine came out literally weeks after the Marijuana Tax Act passed. That's how slowly people were getting information. So we have a magazine that did its research, that studied hemp and said, here's the next billion-dollar crop. But we have a government that is saying, don't grow hemp. Do not grow hemp. This is the same as marijuana. What's crazy is just 5 years later, when we're at war, World War II, we needed the best cloth, the best rope, the best cordage in order to win that war. And so what did the U.S. government do? Well, they realized that rope is so much stronger when it comes from hemp. They realized that you get better cloth, the clothing when you wear hemp. It actually doesn't freeze like it would with cotton. They realized that all sorts of different products that come from hemp are the strongest, the best, and the most important ones to actually go out there and win something and use it effectively. So they put out a huge campaign, Hemp for Victory. They encourage every farmer inside the United States to grow as much hemp as possible so we can win the war. Think about this. 5 years before that, 1937, do not grow hemp. Whatever you do, hemp is bad. It's not a good thing. 5 years later, hemp is the best thing on the planet. We need to grow as much of it as possible because we need to win the war. Does anybody see the contradiction of whatever is best for the government, whatever is best for the people in power? They take that and they put it on us and say that it's best for us at that time. I think in 2014, people are no longer jumping and saying how high when the government says jump. People are now more informed, we're more educated, information travels quicker. We realize that everything the government says and does is not good for us. Here's another one of our favorite presidents, Richard Nixon. It's a joke. In 1972, President Richard Nixon declared all forms of cannabis illegal, which included marijuana, cannabis, and hemp. Putting all three, once again, on the same piece of paper and telling everybody that hemp is the same thing as THC. When you look at what is happening, when you look at this diagram, this timeline, you realize that, you know what, we've been in places in the past where hemp was a part of our society. It was a huge part of our society. It was a huge part of our culture as a people. But it was taken away from us. It's almost like if there was a way for the government to put a tax on the water that we drink and the air that we breathe, they would have already, if they could have, they already would have. Because hemp is just as powerful. It's not just it's not just the mindset of the government that has shifted throughout time, because the medical community as well has shifted their thoughts and philosophies on hemp. Two of the biggest, I would say, influencers inside of the physician and doctor world is Dr. Sanjay Gupta and Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz is the type of person where if he went on a show tomorrow and told everybody that you'd have the best day in your life if you did 13 jumping jacks followed by 13 sit-ups and brushed your teeth for a minute and 30 seconds at exactly 7:33 a.m. Literally millions of people around the planet would be waking up at 7:33 doing 13 jumping jacks, 13 sit-ups, and brushing their teeth for a minute and 33 seconds. That's how much influence he carries. Dr. Sanjay Gupta is kind of the same way. Up until this year, both thought of medical cannabis as something that was bad for people because they didn't do the research. In 2014, they both reversed their statement. They both came out and said that they think it's irresponsible of the medical community not to offer this as an alternative to people. So not only do we have the government shifting, because in 2014, on February 7th, President Barack Obama signed the Farm Bill, which made it legal for us to grow hemp inside of research facilities and universities for the first time in decades. We also have the medical community saying it's a good thing as well. Well, this timeline is not complete. As you see that certain points in time, there's certain things that happen that really create movements inside of our mindsets, inside of our people, inside of our culture and our community. Well, there's another movement, there's another piece of that timeline and a point on the map that I think is the most powerful. That's 420, this year in Denver. Kannaway launched a movement with the pay plan. So how would you look at a business? How would you assess a business? Because when I came down to San Diego to take a look at what wasn't even the word Kannaway yet, what I looked at was 5 different things. I wanted to know, did the company have the right financing? 6.5 years, they spent over $70 million in research and development in this space. I wanted to know, did they have the right leadership? Over the next 10 minutes, I think you can make up your own mind if the company has the right leadership or not. Do they have the right product, something that's unique, something that's disruptive in an industry, something that nobody else has? Do they have the right legal team put together? Because when it comes to running a business, when it comes to going out there and being in a space that is controversial, you want to make sure that you've got the right protection, legally speaking, so that your family and your business is protected. And of course, timing and positioning. Is it the right time to make a move? Is it the right time for this product or this company or this movement to actually go out there and take form? Well, I think what you're going to find today is that Kannaway is an exceptional company. Over the last literally 3 months, we've had record-breaking numbers. Like John said earlier, over 75,000 people have enrolled in some form into Kannaway. That doesn't really happen inside of our space that quickly. Things usually take time to build. Kannaway has invested over $2 million in the launch of the company alone. We're going to find out today that we've got the best film crew, we've got the best media team, we've got the best marketing team, best legal team. Kannaway is not afraid to spend money on putting together the right people and putting together the right products. We're inside the fastest growing global trend on the planet. None of us were alive back in the 1800s when the gold rush happened. But if we were, we would have seen a lot of our friends and a lot of our neighbors and a lot of maybe our family members literally picking up and moving to California. It was California or bust because there was this huge global trend that was happening. People realized for the first time that gold was prevalent in different areas and that it was very, very valuable. Well, people are realizing right now that CBD, rich hemp oil, is prevalent in the products in Kannaway, and they're very, very powerful. Inside the United States alone, if you were to just look at just the 50 states, you would find that this industry is over a $46 billion a year industry. Is international expansion on the map? Absolutely. Do I have an ETA on it, or can I give you a calendar date? I can't give you that. I can tell you this, that when Kannaway launched, they fully were expecting to go international. They're going to. We're going to expand to every corner of this planet. When you look at that industry, you will find that it's an over $200 billion a year industry. It's pretty crazy. Experience leadership. So one of the things that I first looked at was, okay, who's the CEO of Kannaway? What type of experience does he have? When you meet Jeff Rogers, you will find that over the last 26 years, he started a few companies. His first company went from 0 to 450,000 reps in less than 2 years. For the last decades, he has been a very well-respected and very successful MLM consultant to different companies. Why is that important? Well, like I was just saying, he went from 0 to 75,000 very quickly. You want to have somebody that's captaining the ship that has been on those waters before. You want to make sure that somebody is running the show that knows how to run that same show and has got experience in that industry. Jeff Rogers has got an incredible industry. He's absolutely one of the best CEOs, I think, in our space. The guy who called me up on the phone, the one that you see right there, Troy Neihart, he's the CEO of HempMeds PX, which is the company that gives Kannaway its products. When you look at companies inside of the space, you usually find companies that have got 2 or 3 guys that create some sort of comp plan or some sort of great concept and idea, and they draw it out on a whiteboard and they're like, all right, how are we going to find a product to squeeze into this great concept of a comp plan? What Troy knew is that those types of companies don't ever last very long because they're not put together, they're not formulated for the right reasons. When Troy saw what these CBD rich hemp oil products could do, he said we need to have at least a year we've got a duplicatable model where we put these products out to the people and they will order them with or without a compensation plan. And that's what happened over the last year. A lot of these products people were ordering every single month. And they were getting incredible results with, and there was no referral program. There was no opportunity. So when you have that, when you have something that works that well, and you take it to the next level, which is network marketing, you've got something that can go viral very, very quickly, and Troy knew that. So Troy is the visionary behind Kannaway. He's a good friend of mine. Christopher Hussey I worked with for over 2 years, and what sealed the deal in San Diego was knowing who is the man behind the machine. I'm a marketer. I've got a passion for certain things in life, and one of them is marketing. And knowing what Christopher Hussey has done over the last 2 years, knowing what he's capable of, and knowing that he's one of the most brilliant minds in our space when it comes to putting together the right online and offline materials, resources, and systems and tools for the people, that's really what sealed the deal for me. I realized at that moment that they were getting the best of the best. Because Christopher Hussey is not somebody that teaches people to do it only belly to belly, or to do it only online. Whatever works, work it. And over the last decade, when he's been marketing, he just markets. He does it very, very well. You're going to find that we've got the best tools that you've ever seen inside of our space, inside this company. I wanted to know, who are the lawyers behind this? Who is the legal team? At the time, they had Scott Warren, who is very well respected in our space. That firm is sought after by many companies. Did Kannaway just get one attorney and one legal team? No. It's kind of crazy. When you meet Kevin Thompson, you realize that he's a man of prestige and he's a man of vast amounts of experience inside the relationship marketing space. Over 150 different companies he's actually represented. Out of them, there's only one company that he actually went after. There's only one company that he actually approached and said, how do I become a part of that? And that's Kannaway. It's the only company that he's ever asked to be a part of. We've got two of the best legal teams on the planet. So you know that when it comes to building a business, you've got the best people that have got your back. What about timing? Well, I think that everybody right now knows that the mindset of the planet is shifting. People are realizing that this word hemp doesn't really mean a bad thing after all. People are open to opportunity. People are realizing that, what if 2008 happens again? What am I going to do next time? College kids are graduating college and all of them are getting jobs. Over half of them end up back at home. Over half of them end up in a job that isn't even close to their degree. And they're looking for something that's different. Because the times have changed. It's no longer go to school, get a good job, get a good education, and then get a great retirement. How's that working for 90% of the public? It's not. So what is the solution? Well, I believe Kannaway is a solution. And I believe one of the reasons it's a solution is because it's got unique products. When you look around direct sales and you really do your research, you'll see that there's different niches inside of this industry. You'll see that there's coffee companies, dozens of them. You'll find that there's nutritional companies like weight loss. There's dozens of them. You'll find that there's energy deregulation, dozens of them. Mobile companies, dozens of them. Soap, vitamin, lipstick, lotions, and potions, dozens and dozens and dozens of them inside of each one of those niches. If you were to really do your research and you were to start looking around and you ask people, how many companies have got CBD-rich hemp oil? How many companies have got hemp? Most people would say none. But the ones that know about Kannaway would say one, because there is only one. We are very unique. We are a category creator and a game changer in and of itself. And when you look at the companies that have done that in the past, that have taken on a new category and created it, those are the companies that have been around the longest. Those are the companies, the people that started in the beginning are now financially free today. How many people right now would have loved to have been a janitor or secretary with Bill Gates back at Microsoft?
No.
Or invested in it? I think each and every one of us would have, but we didn't have that opportunity. Well, we have the opportunity to have these products in our life and these products go out there and really create some financial freedom for people. Before we go into how we can benefit from this opportunity, let's talk about what these products really are. JoJo, did you try the Kannaway speaker?
I did.
And you're, I believe you're an esthetician?
Oh,
No?
I'm a retired teacher.
You're a retired teacher. Okay, I was way off.
Anyway, my name is JoJo. I'm also known as Joanna Jones. But anyway, I'm a good friend of John, and I've been watching John and monitoring him because, like some of you out there that I spoke to, I was a little bit skeptical at first. So I wanted to see what was progressing and happening with John. So I'm friends with him on Facebook, friends with him at church. We're good buddies, both from Kentucky. My grandparents also raised him in the 1940s. So I do have a background in that. So when John, he's never been pushy with this, but he just gives me little subtle reminders, you know, hey, I'm just watching him and his wife and watching their transformation, which is pretty awesome, I have to say. So when he said, hey, we've got a skin line, I was like, okay, I'm in. I mean, let's face it, ladies, we're all about the fountain of youth. I mean, we're all looking for it. And I'm a grandmother. I'm 54 years old. I'm Hormone City. So it's like, hey, I want something to help maintain at least what I have right now. So John called me and said, hey, do you want to try this? And I'm like, bring it on. So anyway, he gave me all of this to use last night. And which I felt, for the first time, I told him the word that came to me was nourished. My skin really felt nourished. I mean, we all can feel hydrated by any of these products. And with the way things are today, we do our research, and we do want to know what's in that product. So guess what I did? First thing I did was call my son-in-law, who is a PhD scientist and is a lab rat, and I said, listen, I said, John sent me over the information. I sent it over to him, and I said, I want you to scan this. I want you to look at it and tell me if you send me flags up the way. So he sent it right back and said, no, it's good stuff. So he's usually my go-to person to kind of test things first, just to run through. I want to see what's that made of.
If we didn't pass that test, she wouldn't.
I wouldn't be here. And he said that, get your green light, and then are you willing to try the product? And so I was, because for me, it's really important that I use something on my skin that comes from an organic-based line. You know, so many years back, we all used chemicals, and we were just into the, you know, if it says that it worked, we just believe it. Well, that's not really where we are today. I think most of us are educated and do our research, and we need to know more about what we're putting on our skin, just like what we're putting in our mouth. If I'm going to be careful about what I put in my mouth, then you know what? I'm damn well going to be careful about what's on my skin. So, I like this stuff. It was really good. And the first thing I have to say is it didn't smell perfumey. I am not about the perfume smelling kind of stuff. I don't like that flowery stuff. It gives me a headache. So that was the first thing. I wanted to go through each one of them and really critique what I felt about each of the products. And I mean, I did it all from the cleansing to the toners to the moisturizing to the serum, an exfoliator. And I have to tell you, this little salve stuff that John's passing around, that little salve, is freaking awesome. I think that the people up north would really love that in the cold because, you know, they all get cracky and their heels get yucky. So the first thing I did was I put it on my hands, and it's still there. They're still shining, you know. So I love that. I put it on my heels so I get all yucky from walking around in flip-flops all the time. I was really impressed. So I have to say I'm probably in on this skin line for sure. The other reason I came was because I wanted John to sell me on Kindle. So I've got two ulterior motives. But anyway,
So
thanks, John.
let me ask you.
We're both Kentucky people.
Let me ask you a question. Now, this is not scripted by any means because this woman can out-talk me and I can talk. But how does your skin feel?
Oh, well, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I felt like his wife and I spoke last night, and I said, she goes, there's something in it. I don't know what it is. And it's like my husband this morning, when we saw him go down this morning, he said, he goes, maybe it's the lighting. And I went, let's go outside. He went, you know, it's like you kind of got a little glow about it. And it's like the before pictures that I took, I looked a little happy. And then the next pictures I took, I went, you know, it was really, I can't really put my finger on it other than that word nourished. I mean, I keep going back to that, but I really felt nourished by it. And the best thing is that I didn't have any immediate reaction. I didn't feel any like stinging, pulling. You know, I mean, we all know about Miriam. We all know about, you know, those soupy products, you know, that are out there. And, you know, my daughter was the first one having an allergic to Miriam. So it's like, you know, you really got to do research. You know? I mean, that's really important. And that's what I felt first and foremost. It just felt natural. It's a natural, and that was a big thing too, is I felt that it's, it's kind of green. It looks different. It's not your normal silky white stuff that, the cleansers that you're putting on. It's a little bit green. And that was different, but it's definitely a more natural substance.
And the cleanser and exfoliator is like a pasty gray.
Yeah,
It's
totally different.
So it's totally different.
Right.
Nice.
Well, I wasn't going to say this. I've never been a skincare guy. So
But he's kind of glowing.
Billy's stayed with me, and I said, can I have my wife try this before we take it to JoJo? So she tried it, and my wife's taking care of her skin. My wife has very nice skin, but she's always taking care of it. So I went and got my shower. We were getting ready to go somewhere, and so she's in there getting dressed, and I see it. And so I said, you know what? Without telling her. I did the whole skincare treatment.
Absolutely.
I will tell you, my wife was in the, she goes, are you doing that? I didn't answer her. I really didn't want, I was kind of embarrassed. But anyway, I did the treatment. All I can tell you is the word nourish is a pretty good word. I didn't think of that. But my skin was, it just felt good.
It's like a baby's body.
That's a good way to put it. It really just feels good. So, I just don't, I might be. So anyway, we want to just show you the Janelle Kim is the formulator for this. Janelle Kim comes from a lineage of four decades of Oriental, Chinese, she's Korean. Korean medicine is her lineage. She's got a master's degree. She's an herbologist, acupuncture. She's 30-some years old. This is her. And you can go to jbkwellnesslabs.com. You will see the bio on her family. That's her husband. I spent 25 minutes in Atlanta with them. But the words that she really used, and we're going to show a short video for us. She's a woman that she knows what she's talking about. Some people don't like her. She's very direct, but I like her. I like directness. I would never want to be in a conversation with her and not know what I'm talking about, because she would chew you up and spit you out. But she actually had to, and we're going to show you, she had to actually go to her family to take this skincare line and get approval to, because it didn't have CBD in it. Okay, and I have no idea how they all came together, but anyway, she was not going to release this formula. Her family said you cannot release this formula unless CBD enhances and enriches this product line. They did. And she says if a product line doesn't have chi, if the plant didn't have any chi, it was never going in it. And for those of you that know anything about chi, it's energy flow. And it had to have that. And it did. It passed that test just like it passed her son-in-law. And the key words that I took from her, and I went there to learn about skincare, it's properly formulated to nourish your skin at the root. It's proper. She must have said that how many times? Properly formulated. These ingredients are not out of the same ingredient pool that you will see. These ingredients have 25% proprietary active ingredients. The toner is 99% active ingredients. Man, you probably won't know what the hell I didn't know all that. You won't find that high a percentage of active ingredients in any skincare line.
I could probably understand because I go to Walgreens a lot and I try different products and it's always like a tiny percentage in the back.
Like 1, 2, 3, or 4% active ingredients. Go ahead. We're just going to let you introduce Janelle to.
This is from Atlanta. Last week. It's really fun. Once again, live here in Atlanta for Memorial Day weekend, the Kannaway Nation Tour. And I've got two incredible guests with me right now, Craig Nandu and Janelle Kim. Janelle is the formulator of the Cannabis Community Upline. Craig is Janelle's partner, husband, and he has a partner as well with JBK Labs, right? I know that inside the crowd went nuts. Have you ever seen a more responsive crowd to what you guys do?
I can tell you, I love the Kannaway crowd. I feel like they really, really get it. The formulas that we have and the products that we have are so incredibly special and will change so many people's lives that when we see people have as much passion as we have from very gut, it just means so very much, and we just love it. It's really awesome.
Well, we love what you put together. We're very passionate about those caps and the entire Define line. You know, Craig, you touched on some key points where nobody else has this, am I correct?
Absolutely. I mean, as we talked about there, you know, if you go find a product on the shelf at Nordstrom's, or you're going to, you know, a lower end store, or even the most exclusive spa, they're all choosing from the same pool of ingredients. And so what's not in that pool is the B-Bomb formula and the CBD combination. Nobody can find that anywhere else except with cannabis B formula.
No, Janelle, you said that B-Bomb has got our back.
Yes.
Can you maybe explain briefly the combination? What's that mean?
Sure, you got it. So inside what I've said is, my mentor once taught me something. Spoken words can lie. Written words can lie. But one thing that cannot lie is your experience and your results. And that's not something, right, that anyone can make a story of. That's what you feel. And that's something that shows through no matter what. And that's what every single person is going to see when they have these formulas. And if you're the one delivering, which is what I like to say, these formulas to people, then B-Bomb has your back. Because for sure, it's going to do just that. It's going to change these people's lives, which means they're going to want to come back and keep purchasing. Because who doesn't want to keep making themselves better?
Do you have any other words?
So that's the formulator. She's been committed to this work for lots of years. She knows what she's talking about. She grabbed my attention. So, JoJo, I thank you for doing that for us. JoJo is not part of Kannaway.
No.
Just so you know. So, and I didn't even talk to her. I gave products to my wife. My wife took it to her. So all of this was hers.
Most companies, when they introduce products to people, they tell you how awesome they are. They tell you about all the ingredients, about this berry fruit that's from the southeast land of Asia, and it does all these things for people. But in the beginning, before we even started today, we had you guys research our active ingredient, CBD. We don't tell people what our products can do for people. We encourage them to go out there and find out themselves. It's a big difference than telling people this is what you're going to experience, this is what you're going to get. We're going to tell you, if you go out there and try our products, you're going to come back for more. One of the products that people keep coming back for more is the hemp vape. Now, the first time I saw this, I was like, there's no way that thing is legal. And that was before I knew what was in. When you look at the e-cigarette, phenomenon that's happening inside of that industry, it's literally doubling in size every single year. And a lot of the products that you see out there on the market have got all sorts of nicotine and different carcinogens in it. What hemp vape has got in it is CBD-rich hemp oil. Period. And a lot of people enjoy the hemp vape. It's the first time I've ever had a product that I can put in my hand and use out in public and have people come up to me and say, what is that? When you think about direct sales, you think about going out there and, some people, they chase people down. But what if you had a product that when you used it, people came to you and said, what is that? Can I get more information about that? That's what's happening with our hemp vape.
And it's exclusive.
And it's exclusive to Kannaway. That's right.
And before we go farther, it also works as a stylist. It doesn't work terrific as a stylist, but it works as a stylist also on a rubber tip. And I have Mary Ann, if you'll just, Mary Ann's not in Kannaway either. She bought a hemp bake from me. And if you'll just share with them what's happened since you got, you mind? Sure.
I think I got it about a week ago, and John called me up and started telling me about this product, and I know John from other products as well. So I, didn't want to get involved in a multi-level marketing again, because I've been in it before. But I said, well, what is the biggest benefit that you've noticed? And he said, my sleep is better. And I said, I'll meet you tonight. Women my age, I'm 60, have trouble sleeping. I mean, that's all there is to it. You wake up at 4 in the morning, you lie awake, get back to sleep, and I've tried every natural sleep aid there is, and I really don't want to take drugs or anything that, would be bad for my body. So I met John that night, and that night I slept maybe 8 hours. I slept all the way through. I took it's on my date, I guess. The next night, I think I did wake up at 4, and I took a couple hits. It was right by my bed, and I read just for like maybe 5 minutes, and I was out. I mean, for the whole week, I've been sleeping 8 to 9 hours every single night. Immediately. And I haven't told too many people because I know I've tried some natural sleep aids before that worked for a while, and then all of a sudden they don't work at all. So I really wanted to test it out, but now after a week, I'm starting to tell a few friends that I know suffer with sleep too. And I told a friend last night, she's like, yeah, you know.
These are, and we walk a gray area here. So, because we can't tell people, we have to protect Kannaway. But once you do your research, look, the stories just privately keep coming to us. So.
Yeah, every time somebody that I find tries our product out, they come back with an incredible testimonial story. Like, I wish I could share that with them. I wish I could share your story with other people, but, like you said in the beginning, we're not a company that makes any money. We're not, intending to treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We're a lifestyle company.
Are you inhaling that?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so what if you don't smoke and you've never smoked before?
I can answer that. I quit smoking in 1980. Mine is a mental block. I don't want to ever start smoking. I literally hold it in my mouth, so sublingually, it fits there. And then I exhale it through my nostrils, and it gets up into my sinuses.
That's what I do.
I did talk to the guy the company that makes these. There was a lot of science in it. It wasn't just, find a hemp vape and put CBD-rich hemp oil in it. So he said if you do take it into your lungs, because the lungs are your lungs are very narrow and have a lot of capillaries, it will actually do that. I just don't do that. I catch myself occasionally doing it. It will not, there's benefit to it. But
So you're basically holding it
I'm just holding it in.
Letting it be absorbed sublingually by the mucosa in the mouth, and then when you exhale, you're doing it.
Just sit it up.
That's how I do it.
That's working. So,
Who's tried Kannaway?
we got some volunteers that are guests.
Charles, you tried it, right?
Yeah.
What's your experience?
Let's go. Kannaway first is our. Go ahead and tell
So
me.
Kannaway it's 100 milligrams of caffeine, 5 milligrams of CBD. And so, normally when you think of an energy drink or coffee, you think about an immediate jolt. There's more of a time release with the caffeine that's in Kannaway. On top of that, if you ever tried to put a cup of coffee in your pocket, it doesn't really work that well.
How many milligrams of caffeine?
It's 100. A normal cup of coffee is 80 an hour.
So this is about like a cup and a half.
Yes.
And it's encapsulated. What he's talking about, the caffeine is actually encapsulated.
You might stand it up. So, it's all good.
All right. We met Carlos on the beach yesterday, so and we went to the beach, and I told Billy we might see a manatee. Carlos is out in the water, and a 6-foot manatee just rolls right by. So, anyways,
Yeah, it tastes good. I'm waiting for
Did it make you hungry like coffee? Because coffee makes me
no, not really.
Did your heart beat rapidly?
No,
Pulse
it's
so high?
That's right.
Peter, but I think Pete, where's Peter? Can you tell you?
I've had the product for a week and I did not take care of it. I'm a mechanic until I went to work. I worked 12-hour shifts. And around 2 o'clock I was feeling sleepy. And so I took it, and within 5 minutes I felt as if I slept all night. It was natural, it wasn't jittery, I didn't feel that crash. I felt like I took a nap. So it works. I've tried it several times at work around the sleepy hour time, that 2 o'clock time. And so that's my experience with it.
Nice. Peter, can you tell anything?
Oh, no, I feel great. Actually, and I got to be honest, when I usually come to things like this, I fall asleep. What they're talking about doesn't grab me, I'll go to sleep. My mind is set to go to sleep. But when you gave it to me over there, I'm like, I was still negative about it. Because my son showed it to me actually before we got here. He was telling me about it, but I didn't take one. And I took it, and I'm like, I let you know the story, and I feel good. But I also wanted to say something else. I asked my son about the sound curve. I said, is that cocaine? And then he said, well, supposed to. I said, well, and again, I had shoulder operation. They did 5 things in one. I had severe shoulder, and believe me, I got the scars to show. But I put it on this knot that I've had for almost 8, 9 years that never goes away. Put it on the knot. How long ago? I was sitting here, over there when you gave it to me. And actually, when you gave it to me there, I broke it here. Then, since I had a lot, I started broken it on the knot as I'm sitting here. And I'm like, oh, it feels good. Now, that's the knot, but I'm not finished with this. Since I've had the shoulder surgery about 8 months ago, I still have a tightness here. I couldn't lift my arm up still. This is about it. I'm telling my son here, this for pain? But the tight, I don't feel the tightness. So I told myself, can you tell me to do a little bit more? It really feels good.
So the research that you did about CBD and the experiences that you had, like we were saying before, we're not a medical company. So what you're experiencing today, we have to allow other people to experience for themselves as well. So when people research CBD, when they try our products, when they find out about something that they've been misinformed and miseducated on, something that they didn't know about, that the government knew about, and they try the products and they get results, well, that's something that if we were to tell them, face to face, here's what you've been, missing out on. Here's what the government hasn't been telling you. Here's a product that's going to give you this and do this for you. It's not the same. It's that if you're saying to somebody, if you research this incredible cannabinoid called CBD, you might find something interesting.
And with the Candy Kick, we will have a complete organic.
I think they're on an entire reformulation.
Nice.
For completely
awesome. They will still keep this one, I think. Or is it everything? Is it going to be completely
organic? It's going to be completely organic. Yes.
But one thing I'd like to say, and people don't realize is, they put the stuff in a easy to find line, but it's really, it's his experience has shown it's not just for, it's not a.
It's a standalone product.
Again, we can't make medical claims, but I can tell you from personal experience of people that I've allowed to use the product for all variety of things. It's amazing what people come back with.
It's really, really crazy.
One last thing.
We have to be very careful with medical claims, but I will tell you, my wife actually burned her hand with some grease or some oil and put that on and put her hand. I said, you shouldn't be doing that. I think you put the cold on it. They Google and said, you're supposed to put it on ice. But she put it on first and then put it on the ice, and before she went to bed, she put it on. Next morning, woke up and said, how's your hand? She goes, what? You burned your hand yesterday. It was just a tiny little bubble that was on her hand.
What's more incredible? Thank you for that story, Ken. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Marianne. Peter. Carlos.
It's Pete repeat.
Yeah.
Pete repeat.
What's more incredible is that CBD red hemp oil can be easily infused into almost every product on the planet. And we've got over 70 products that we've got in development right now. Kannaway is perfectly poised and ready to put a new product into the market every 30 to 60 days.
Did you say 70?
70 products, yeah, that are in development as we speak. You know, in Atlanta, we came out with another product to the Cannabis Beauty Fine line called the Cannabis Beauty Fine capsules. It's 4 milligrams of CBD. It's got coconut oil in it, as well as the Bee-Balm formula.
What's the was when she said what it was?
It's an ancient Chinese protected proprietary blend.
It's a formula that has literally been passed down through the generations inside of her lineage that nobody else has in the planet.
Is it for your skin or internally? Or?
So this is the first anti-aging line that you're going to find is not just an external, products to it, but also internal, because we've got the capsules as well.
So the capsules are perfectly formulated for the outside in, perfectly formulated for the inside out.
So if you're excited about the products that we have right now, wait till you see the products that are coming. They're earth-shattering and mind-blowing. Whenever you have a product, or you've got a service, or you've got a business, you're not going to be successful unless you market it effectively, unless you've got the right tools. It's like sitting on a pile of gold and not having an excavator, not having a wash plant, not having the right shovels, pickaxes to get the gold out of the ground. What if everything was easy and simple? What if every time that you invited somebody to take a look, every night you had a presenter waiting to present to your people? Well, every single night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, at Kannaway.com/hangout, a different leader gives the Kannaway presentation, usually about 30 minutes. So what's super simple about this business is that you don't have to be me. You don't have to be John. You never have to get up in front and be a presenter. If you really wanted to build this business, the only thing you have to do is invite people to take a look, invite people maybe here for presentations, or invite people at night to witness a different leader speaking about the presentation about Kannaway. It's really cool to know that we've got an entire back office that has got, this is actually outdated because we keep adding new things to it. And over the last 24 hours, they reformulated the back office and it looks even better than it does today. Marketing tools, funnels. How many people have seen the American Betrayal funnel?
What?
Really awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, it's one of the most incredible funnels I've ever seen. It literally, the first video, literally goes over the timeline of why we're here right now and why people have been misled and thought of a different way about hemp. It goes through that entire history and portrays to people what really happened in America. And it's a 3-part series. That's just, we've got literally a $500,000 video and media team inside of Kannaway. They've won 3 different Emmys at a different company, and they're up for 3 more. They are incredible with what they put together. These funnel systems literally will do all the presenting and all the heavy lifting for you.
Would you explain what funnel is?
Sure. Imagine if you love that video. Imagine if you found somebody that's in college that was looking at the hemp vape and wanted more information. They wanted to know if they can get the hemp vape for free. Well, what's cool is you would have an opportunity to send them a link that would walk them through with Master Bong actually telling them about what hemp vape is and how they can go out there and refer 3 people and get theirs for free. What if you had somebody that was into the UFC or somebody that was into sports? You had a guy like Brandon Vera speaking on behalf of Kannaway. There's not a picture of Brandon, but Brandon is a huge advocate of hemp and a huge advocate for Kannaway. So we've got all these incredible funnels that will actually get different people excited or more information about what they're looking at inside of Kannaway. What I knew that Chris Ferresi had done was put together this engine that shares content for people. Inside of Kannaway magazine, or Kannaway.com/magazine, every single day, some of the best copywriters that we have in the industry are writing a new article every single day about Kannaway, about hemp, about CBD. And the only thing that you have to do, if you got any type of social media presence, is click on a button that says share, and you can actually put it out to over 300 different social media platforms on the planet. Every time somebody goes and researches and looks at that article that you put out there and wants to know more information about Kannaway, well, your link is attached to it. If they were to buy products, if they were to actually join Kannaway, you're going to get credit for that if they share it. Let's say, so I know this has happened to you, you take an article that Kannaway produced and you share it to your Facebook page. 5 people that aren't in Kannaway share that article. And somebody from one of those 5 people ends up buying products or joining Kannaway. Guess what? Because he was the last one who shared the article that was in Kannaway, he's going to get the credit. Does it happen, John?
People that I don't know it's on the bought that.
Really, really powerful. No other company inside of our space has got a tool like ShareEngine. And that's just the start of it. I mean, when you look at the opportunity, you find that we've got all sorts of different ways to make income. Direct sales income is all about selling products directly to your customers. It allows you to earn income by purchasing Kannaway products at wholesale and then selling them at retail. Like I was telling you before, you can refer 3 different customers or 3 people, and the average amount of order that they order on a monthly basis, you're going to get that for free. We've got an 8 weeks of success program where literally it'll take you from step 1 to 8 weeks down the road, and it'll teach you exactly how to be successful in Kannaway. Everything that you've looked for inside of the business, having a mentor maybe that is actually incentivized to help you out, that's all inside of Kannaway. You've got first order bonuses, a luxury car program. How many people wouldn't mind it if there was a company that paid the lease on a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz every month? Only a few, I guess. But we have that in Kannaway. As you move up in rank, National Marketing Director, you will get a $500 car allowance, $750 for Gold Executive. Diamond is $1,000, and when you get Triple Diamond, Kannaway will actually pay the note of the car up to $75,000. Pretty awesome. When you looked at, if you looked at a company, or let's say even a job, let's say you had a job and your boss said to you, would you like to get paid in one way? Would you like to have over 11 different ways that you get paid? Which one are you going to say? 11, right? Well, that's what we have with Kannaway. We've got over 11 different ways that we get paid, from direct sales income to luxury car program, code infinity bonus, different ways to get paid on a weekly and monthly basis. You go out there and refer some people and teach them how to do the same thing, you're going to start receiving residual income. How many people know about residual income? Okay. For those of you that don't, linear income is when you work a 9-to-5 job. Where every month your work month looks like this. You work 1 week, you work the next, you get paid. You work, get paid. Work, get paid. Residual income is a little bit different. You work at the beginning and then get paid, but eventually what it looks like is work, get paid from here in Florida all the way to California and back. That's how the wealthy have gotten wealthy. They've leveraged their time, they've leveraged their assets, they've leveraged other people. Our program is designed for people that want to make something of their life, that want to make their dreams a reality. So how would somebody join Kannaway? Well, it's a great question. How many have started their own brick and mortar business? Anybody? Was it cheap, Ken?
Yes and no. I actually started the mortgage company back in, I think it's way cheaper. Couldn't do it now, no way with all the regulations. And I did have a retail store. Retail store, obviously, that's going to put a lot of money up front costs.
If you were to sit in front of my father, he's a very well-respected and successful accountant in Chicago. Past 26 years, he's got over 750 personal business clients. If you were to sit down in front of him today and say, Mr. Funk, I'm going to start my own health and wellness storefront. When will I be in profit? He would look at you and say, year 3 to year 5. You would say, but. He would say, no. Year 3 to year 5. It's going to cost you, tens of thousands of dollars just to get, that business up and running. It's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars just to get the build out done, the signage, Then we're talking about utilities, we're talking about rent, we're talking about merchant processing, we're talking about shipping and handling. The costs of doing business are enormous. That's why it takes people normally 3 to 5 years to get their profit back from the investment they made to start their business. Now, what if you had all the signage, all the marketing, all the shipping and handling? What if you had all the merchant processing, all the employees? What if all that was taken care of for you for $15 a month? Well, if you sat in front of my father and said that, he would look at you and say, well, it's really up to you when you get profits. How are you going to get products? Probably what he would say next. But first, for $15 a month, when you become a Kannaway brand ambassador, you get the compensation program, you get our Kannaway marketing systems that you've just seen a little bit of, think you can. We got a whole lot more marketing systems in the back office, and they're putting more and more back there every day. Now, not only that, you get the back office, which is essentially like having your own secretary and accountant in one. We do all the shipping and handling, all the merchant processing for you, and you get the Kannaway business training system. So for $15 a month, it's literally like having your own storefront with the signage, with being able to advertise and market for free, and then having an entire storefront of employees. Everything is taken care of except the product. Because he would next say to you, okay, well, how much product are you going to stock? You can't make any money. Normally, when I, back in 2007 and 2009, I owned a couple of Verizon stores right outside Chicago. And it cost me $80,000 to buy the business. It cost me over $10,000 to do the build out. It was a lot of money. Every month, I spent $30,000 on phones. They're not cheap. Wholesale cost of them for a smartphone is, $500 to $700 wholesale. And when you looked at when I looked at this business, and you were to put that same business model in front of my father, he would look at you and go, "Wow, you're telling me that for $15 a month, you can run your own business, you can run your own storefront. The only thing that you need to do is pick a pack." It's essential for you to come into a business and have some products so that you can sell to people. If you were to really treat this as a business and you wanted to maximize it, you would want the most amount of product, which would also open up the most amount of compensation, which is what the Premier Pack did. So the majority of people that I sponsored, that I know that John sponsored, and that have looked at this as a real business and are going to treat it as one, that came in with the Premier Pack. If you're looking to change your lifestyle, well, you can come in with a lifestyle pack. If your money's not right or it's just too tight, you come in with an essential pack. What I like about Kannaway is it's not a company where you have to fit into its lifestyle. Kannaway is a company where it will fit into your lifestyle no matter who you are and where you're at inside of life right now. There's no other place on the planet that you can get and start your own business for $15 a month and $200 per product. The third step is get with your sponsor and really begin your journey to success. Now, when I was there in January, I was sitting next to my business partner. There was 24 of us in the room. And I remember looking at these testimonials and looking at these products and looking at what Kannaway was becoming. And my business partner and I kept elbowing each other. We kept looking at each other going, we're here right now. And I feel that way still right now. I still cannot believe that I am here, before the beginning, underneath the ground. I truly believe that that day a buzz was created. And in Denver on 420, the earth shook. It shook so violently that literally a tsunami was created, a giant wall called Kannaway. It's not a wall of water, because we would all want to run from that wall if it was headed our way. It's a wall of wealth and wellness. You don't need a surfboard in order to surf this into shore. Each and every one of you already have the best vehicle to do that. That's your mouth, that's your connections, that's who you are as a person. Body surfers don't need a surfboard, and neither do you. This wave is coming our way. It's one of those things where we can sit there and think about things and then look back on it later and go, I wish I would have, I wish I could have, I wish I should have. Because a lot of us have seen opportunity before. A lot of us have looked at Microsoft or Walmart or Apple and said, man, I wish I would have known about that in the beginning. 6 months from now, we're all going to have that same thought. It's going to be one or two things. It's either going to be, I am so glad I did, man, Billy Funk, I wish I would have. Don't be in that second category. Be in the first, get started today, and we will teach you and show you exactly how you can surf this wave to the shore. Now you can take advantage of something that you're probably already doing, which is telling people about something you're passionate about. Thank you guys so much.
You know, we call Kannaway a category creator. I was part of a category creator in the 1980s. I spent 22 years in the automobile retail business. I was with Chrysler Corporation. A lot of times we use Apple, we use Microsoft. Lee Iacocca created the whole market for the minivan. Came out of nowhere in 1984. It was a huge wave that still is going on today. It's the #1 selling minivan. This wave with Kannaway is coming. This wave in hemp is coming. This wave in, and we're not a medical marijuana, it's coming. You know, I have an app on my phone that I get. It's an information app, and I just put in. It's called SkyGrid, and I can go here. I have two things on it, and one of them is hemp, and every day there's an article. It has nothing to do with Kannaway. Every day there's an article. It's coming. So if you want to be part of it. So what I like to do, and I don't like to put people in boxes, but you know, we kind of categorize. We're in this business. We kind of categorize people a little bit in A, B, and C. And if you're an A person, you see what we have. You kind of want to be part of it. You want to get started. Those 8 people that are here as guests, I'm going to ask that you meet with Billy right after and get the rest of your questions answered. There's B people who see what we have, and you know they're not ready. They want to get more questions answered, but maybe just want to be a customer. I'll meet you in the back of the room, so the B people come and talk, and I'll help answer any questions that I can. And then there's the C people, and I just want to thank you for coming and thank you for taking the time. You know, this is not for you. It's not for everybody. And we just really appreciate you coming. So if you'll take the time right after we're done here and just meet with Billy and get your questions answered. If you're an A, if you're B, I'll meet you in the back. And thank you for coming. It's been a great event. And we're just getting started in Naples. So.